back at it again, but this time, oops, I'm doing all dogs. Specifically a poodle, Shar-Pei, Shiba Inu, and Chinese crested dog. There were a few others that I had considered and drawn up sketches for, like a Cocker Spaniel, a Lao Chin, a Shih Tzu, and then I even had a few other sketches of the Shiba, just trying to figure out what I wanted to do for that one. The one that probably started it all was the poodle, because a poodle just is always the best option for turning a dog into an anthropomorphic character. It's generally pretty easy as well. So obviously it's the first one. And I had to cut out a big section of this recording, specifically the coloring the skin part, because there's an NSFW version of her. So, yeah. I don't think YouTube would be very happy about me if I posted that. Even if you could argue that it's artistic nudity, I still don't think they'd be very happy about it. So, the Cocker Spaniel and Lao Chin I ended up not doing because their designs, I just kept wanting to give them an overwhelming amount of fringe, and I don't know about you, but I do not enjoy drawing and coloring fringe. So I ended up not doing them. The Lao Chin was very similar to the poodle with the leotard kind of thing going on, and the Cocker Spaniel ended up giving her a kind of Edwardian dress look, but I wasn't really feeling it with either of their sketches. And here we're moving on to the Shar-Pei, which if you've ever seen one, it's a very wrinkly dog. So I wanted to incorporate that into her outfit, obviously. Gave her a very wrinkled and bunched up sweater. And then I'm sure there's a name for the boots, but I know for a fact I've seen pictures of thigh-high boots where they're just that really bunched up, gathered material, and I thought that would be the best to do for her. Of course, her tail is little bunches of flesh. That's uncomfortable to say. I think she turned out okay. Going through and making all the bunches and gathers and trying to make sure it didn't look weird was kind of difficult. I'm sure some of them still look weird. I'm trying to make sure gravity is working properly and all that. She ended up being lots of neutral, earthy tones. Several of them did. Some of the others do have little bits of color, but the poodle is really the only one that didn't end up with lots of browns and earth tones. So throughout my life, I've only ever had 2 dogs. One of them died years ago. We had her for, I don't know, 12 years maybe. She just got really sick. And then we have another dog who we've had for 7 or 8 years, I think. She's quite nice. She is kind of fussy if you're not giving her any attention, though. Both of them have been mixed breeds. The one who passed away was terrier and something else. I don't remember exactly. And then the one we currently have is Australian Shepherd and I can't remember. It was also something else. But I'm more of a cat person, really. I think cats are also a lot easier to anthropomorphize. I mean, you get more interesting stuff with the dogs. I thought about doing a Dalmatian as well, but I think I was really getting stuck in that, oh, I need to do a Dalmatian who has a firefighter theme, and I couldn't get past that, so I ended up not doing it. But cats always have the basic ears and tail, whereas with dogs you get lots of different kinds. Ones that are real sleek, ones that are real wrinkly, different shaped ears, some perk up and some are down. So I guess it's more interesting and lots of diversity if you're doing dog anthros, but I really just am more of a cat person. Which I am doing a cat or two later on in the month. So there's that to look forward to. I kept the background really simple with her as well, and just pretty much just kept it a solid color with a shadow type thing. Next we're on to the Shiba Inu, and it was kind of weird doing her design. I was having trouble figuring out what I wanted to do, because I wanted her tail to be fully in view, because if you're not seeing the tail, then it just kind of looks like a cat. So I needed a pose from behind. One of the first sketches I had it kind of like you're down below her looking up, and the wind would be blowing and be seeing her panties, and there'd be I was gonna draw hands with a camera, like taking photos, but I don't know, the more I looked at the sketch, the more I didn't like it. So I ended up changing and going with this, making her more playful. Dogs are known for sticking out their tongues. It wasn't until I was working on this one that I remembered that for some reason. So she gets her tongue sticking out. Just wanted to keep her very playful and youthful, while still trying to push the idea of Shiba. And they still just kind of look like cat ears though. A couple of the outfits, mostly this one and the next one, I went more accessorized. I used to do that a lot with characters I drew. I gave them lots of accessories and layers and such on their outfits, and I haven't been doing that as much recently. So I guess trying to go back to the roots. I don't know if not really my roots, but stuff I used to do that I haven't done as much recently. Just because it's always fun to go through and give the characters extra accessories, like a jacket or a pair of gloves. I used to do a lot of jewelry. I didn't give any of them jewelry. Oh, that's a missed opportunity. I used to do lots of bracelets and earrings and stuff, but I wanted to keep the color. Didn't want to do too much in the accessory range because I wanted to keep the color palette kind of similar to the dogs, which is I was using a picture of the dogs for color referencing to make sure it all coordinated and was good, which is why you end up with lots of browns and earthy tones, because a lot of dogs are brown. At least the ones I chose to do were. Last but not least is the Chinese crested dog. I'm gonna be honest, the pictures I saw of them, they were kind of ugly. It was weird translating that into a human too. But I wanted to do, I guess what I was thinking with it was like nightlife, going out on the street. Nighttime to go have fun or go to a club or something, I don't know. So she gets that strange pose, plus a more detailed outfit compared to some of the others. I wanted to put the spots into it somehow, and ended up doing that by making it her shirt. I don't know why, but a really short skirt just felt right. And then I kind of regret doing the fur leg warmers just because I don't like drawing fur. It's kind of hard to avoid fur when doing dogs and other furries for an entire month. It's just the way things are sometimes. And then I wanted her to have a jacket that was dropping off of one of the shoulders. But I never really fully decided what kind of jacket she has. So it's kind of like a bomber jacket in a way, but also the collar isn't the kind of collar that a bomber jacket usually has. Ooh, not sure I was thinking it through all the way. And then the spot where it drapes over her arm and back on her leg. I'm not sure if I got that gravity and how the jacket would actually look quite right there. Looks weird. And then for the rim lighting, I guess I don't know why, but I wanted to try doing something different. Instead of just using a really light color, I went through and used blue and red, which I then tied in with the background that you'll see later. She was the most ambitious as far as background goes as well. And the way I turned that one leg makes drawing the background kind of difficult. It's like curved it kind of weird, so you're looking at her from a slightly above and to the right angle. But then I don't think the background perspective-wise reflects that very well. My bad. Oops. I did quite enjoy working on her though. I miss adding the extra accessories and all that. Because she kind of has a choker, not really. That's pretty much the only thing I do nowadays about as far as accessories go. I really like drawing her chokers. Don't know why. And of course, several of them ended up with very tall heels. It's just Sheba didn't, actually. She had very short booties. And you can't see the heel on the poodle, but yeah. Been drawing lots of really tall heels lately. I just like how they look from the characters. As usual, I'm bad at making jackets look shiny. Oh well. It's just something that will require more practice. And then I'm adding the extra, for some reason I decided to add the lighting before doing the background. I suppose it still turned out okay. Kind of had an image in mind, but I'm not sure if I really executed it quite right. Of her in a street with... My idea was blue lights from below and red from above, and that's the idea I had when adding it to her, but I'm not sure if the background reflects that quite right. Anyway, here's the 4 dog girls for 4 days of April. Continuing April Anthros. Have fun.